Tonight, I'll be presiding over a versus competition between those in the film industry who support genocide and those in the film industry who are against it. So we can determine which of these people are culturally relevant. Who am I to judge? What qualifies me to be a cultural critic? Well, number one, I read Andy Warhol's diaries when I was 14. Number two, I know how to spell Yaphet Kotto. Number three, I once hung out with Jim Carroll for like 2 hours. And number four, whenever I see someone about to make a phone call, I always shout, "Who are you going to call? The Ghostbusters?" We're doing 3 rounds with 6 competitors. First up, Juliana Margulies versus Wallace Shawn. Some of you might not know who Wallace Shawn is, and to that I would say, inconceivable. With one word, many of you know a face and you know a voice. That's Wallace Shawn. That's because Wallace Shawn played a small but memorable part in many people's childhoods. Juliana Margulies starred in a show called The Good Wife, which is a very good show. But the thing about that show was Juliana Margulies' character was always surrounded by other characters that were more interesting than her, one of whom was played by Wallace Shawn. Wallace Shawn also co-wrote and co-starred in My Dinner with Andre, which is a classic film. It's a groundbreaking film from the 1980s that ushered in the independent film movement. If you're going to watch it, I have to warn you, it's basically just 2 guys sitting at a table talking. It's parodied in a lot of films, like in a lot of shows and films, like Waiting for Guffman, Family Guy. Juliana Margulies is currently on a show called The Morning Show. It's on Apple TV. Do you guys watch Apple TV? Anyways, here's a quote from Juliana Margulies. She's complaining in this interview about how Zionism does not get enough support from other minority groups in the United States. Quote, "There was a film being shown by this black lesbian club on Columbia's campus, and they put signs up that said, 'No Jews allowed.'" And then the writer notes this: "The reference may relate to a report of a lesbian group disinviting Zionists, quote-unquote Zionists, to a movie night." And then Juliana Margulies continues, "And as someone who plays a lesbian journalist on the morning show, I'm more offended by it as a lesbian than I am as a Jew, to be honest with you." And then the writer goes on to note that Margulies in real life is married to a dude. I don't know anything other than that about her personal life. I don't know when she says that she's Jewish if she means she's Jewish or if she means she played someone who was Jewish on a TV show. But here's a quote from Wallace Shawn. Let me see. I have it written down here. It's, let's see if I can find it. "Killing the innocent is wrong." I think Wallace Shawn should put "inconceivable" on his headstone after he dies. Because first of all, that would be hilarious. And second of all, he totally won this round. Next up, Jonathan Glazer versus Eli Roth. Jonathan Glazer won the Oscar for Best Foreign Film a little while back. I'm going to read his speech. Don't worry, they're very short speeches at the Oscars. "All our choices are made to reflect and confront us in the present, not to say, 'Look what they did then,' rather, 'Look what we do now.' Our film shows where dehumanization leads at its worst. It shaped all of our past and present. Right now, we stand here as men who refute their Jewishness and the Holocaust being hijacked by an occupation which has led to conflict for so many innocent people, whether the victims of October 7th in Israel or the ongoing attack on Gaza. Jonathan Glazer won that Oscar for The Zone of Interest, his fourth film. It was only his fourth film. He's made 4 perfect films. 2013's Under the Skin was a visually rich tone poem about predation and desire and the dangers of superficial beauty, and a film about empathy. That same year, Eli Roth released The Green Inferno, a movie about SJWs getting eaten alive by cannibals in the Amazon. It's a movie where activists and indigenous people are portrayed as evil, and the corporations who perpetuate climate change are portrayed as a force for good. It's sort of like The Birth of a Nation, just substitute technical innovations with torture porn. Here's something that Eli Roth said about his film. I wanted to write a movie that was about modern activism. I see that a lot of people want to care and want to help, but in general, I feel like people don't really want to inconvenience their own lives. And I saw a lot of people just reacting to things on social media. These social justice warriors. This is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And they're just tweeting and retweeting. They're not actually doing anything. Or you see people get involved in a cause that they don't really know a lot about and they go crazy about it. I want to make a movie about kids like that. Next up, and this was a tough one, Joaquin Phoenix versus Jennifer Jason Leigh. Jennifer Jason Leigh has a pretty good filmography, but she's usually in ensemble pieces. Many times she plays a pivotal role. Sometimes she does not play a pivotal role, but she was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, The Last Exit to Brooklyn, Shortcuts. I did not like the Coen Brothers movie, The Hudsucker Proxy, but I did love the last season of Fargo, and her character had the exact same voice in that series, that season, that she had in Hudsucker Proxy. And I thought that was a delightful Easter egg. Joaquin Phoenix is not just an interesting actor, he's a certifiable weirdo. But he's also bankable because of the Joker movies. He can get movies made, and he makes interesting choices. The Master, Inherent Vice, To Die For, Her, Sisters, Brothers. So, based on that, I'm going to give it to the anti-genocide side. It might not seem fair to award this round to the actor who's more successful. But it's also not fair to kidnap disabled people and sodomize them with hot pokers. In reality, this was as fair of a competition as I could summon. Jennifer Jason Leigh is actually the best these folks can come up with. I looked, and it's all like Seinfeld, Michael Rappaport, Deborah Messing. Losers are attracted to the far right because society has left them behind and they long to punish us for it. They long to punish the world.